Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Uproar, and welcome to another episode of the One Piece Virgin podcast. This is a special episode because we're going to be recapping the story so far, talking about the very best moments, the best arcs, all that fun stuff. And I really felt like we needed this to get our heads together and compose our thoughts and our experiences before heading in to the new arcs and the new adventures. Joining me today, we have Nux and Nux.
Nux and Nux! It's good to be here in both of my personas. I now have to be both Chad and Lad in this episode. I am very excited. It's going to be amazing, fantastic, adventurous, and remember to drink G Fuel. How's that?
Yeah, so Briggs can join us today, guys. Briggs is off doing something else, so Nux is here representing both of them in some way.
That's
and we
me.
also have Evan from the YouTube channel EvanNeat0.
I'm glad to be here, except I'm also very upset. And
What
here's
the
why.
flip are you doing here?
First of all, Nux had the audacity
Yeah,
to ask me
I was kind of a
recently. He's
dickhead.
like, "Oh, Evan, have you seen One Piece?" As if I haven't said a million times that I love the heck out of One
What are
Piece.
you
How
saying?
dare you?
What do you
How
mean?
dare you? I have waited a millennia to be on this podcast, and now my time has come, and you ruin it with this image?
Evan, I didn't ask you if you read One Piece. I knew you did. I said I would
No.
invite you, but I don't want to because Animac hates you. And then you were
No,
really
no.
distraught
No,
that Animac hates you for some reason. And then
No,
I waited
not
a
today.
solid
I'm talking about in
5
the
minutes
past.
until I explained to you that no, in fact, Animac does not
Okay,
hate you.
th-
I
yes,
just wanted
that-
to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't
that
hate
happened
you.
today.
I do not hate you. I personally also had no idea that you watched or read One Piece.
Hell yeah.
Why does no one know that I love One Piece? It's literally my favorite anime of all time.
You liar! You said Fairy Tail's your favorite anime at one time, and
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
And to be
no,
fair,
I've never
all
said
of
that. I
One
have
Piece
never said
is
that.
not as good as the first episode of Naruto Shippuden. Am I right?
That's a fact. However, okay, One Piece is still my favorite anime of all
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
in my mind, when I think of you, Evan, I think of Fairy Tail, not One Piece. I'm sorry.
Why do you think of Fairy Tail when I come to mind? It's like
I don't
an
know.
insult.
Because
I
you and
don't know.
Lucy have a lot in common.
No.
You both need to rely on spirits to do your dirty work.
Wow.
Thank you, Hooky Wookie, for the 1,000
Spirits
magical
being
crystal.
a pun because spirits can get you drunk, and that you get it. You get it.
Yeah, we get it, Nux. You are
get it.
hilarious.
Evan didn't get it. I bet he didn't even know that spirits referred to alcohol.
I hate it here.
So leave.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad that we're here together. Being that unfortunately Briggs could not make it this time, there is great news. I will be hiding Brigo Easter eggs throughout the video. If you could find them and comment them in the comments, you will be awarded absolutely nothing but pride. And with that
Interesting. I
said,
have no idea what you mean. but
you'll
let's
see.
go.
You'll see.
Okay, so we just finished Marineford and the post-Marineford arc. Where we left off, it was absolutely crazy. We had the massive battle, the death of Whitebeard, the death of Ace, the new era of pirates, and we have the crew split up. So
Spoilers.
it's just an insane situation. We also have Rayleigh, the Dark King, training Luffy. Luffy training arc. It's just nuts. And let's look at what led us up to this and what were some of your favorite moments, guys. For me, I enjoyed the first parts of the manga. So we had Romance Dawn, the whole Shanks thing. Shanks serves the purpose of showing that pirates in this world, in my opinion, are different from just the kind of pirates we think of when we think of pirates from the real world. At least some of them are. So, when we think of pirates, we think of criminals, cutthroats, ruthless, all this type of stuff. And yet the first thing we see Shanks and his crew do is actually refuse to start fighting these bandits who are annoying and stuff because they don't have a reason to fight. So they're trying to just keep the peace and be cool unless you mess with their friends. If you mess with their friends, then you get wrecked. But I did think that Romance Dawn was important in the sense that obviously it establishes Luffy's backstory, how he got the devil fruit, but it also establishes the fact that there are different kinds of pirates in this world, and some are much different from what we might think of pirates when we just, think of the criminals and the murderers and the robbers and so on.
And also, being that Shanks is Yonko level, it clearly gives us a better way to power scale the Sea Kings. Okay, anyway, that wasn't important at all. But I think the first arc is actually pretty solid. I do prefer the manga iteration to the anime, because in the manga we start with Shanks and Luffy's backstory. In the anime we start with him popping out of a barrel in Alvida's boat. And I think that at this point, it's a point that's great to look back at. I've said this before, but I think that in retrospect, the East Blue saga is actually fantastic. But the first time going through, I can understand why it is slow to some, which is why you skip part. Okay, fine, I'm not gonna go. Okay,
No.
okay, but
No.
no, it was a joke. It was a joke. Anyway, so I very much, I think in retrospect, seeing Shanks and him being the first major pirate that we're introduced to, and we see that he has an interesting philosophy. We see that his crewmates kill people. Someone's threatening Shanks, and then his dude Lucky Roo or whatever his name is, he blasts his head off. That does happen in the beginning. So pirates are ruthless to an extent, but they're not just in it for personal gain without any any nuances to their character as well. It's not just marine good, pirate bad. And it's a fascinating way to look back but I wouldn't say that necessarily it's the strongest starting chapter on the first go.
Yeah, so this first few chapters, how many was it, 7 or something, or 8? Romance Dawn. Yeah, 8 chapters. I thought it was totally solid in terms of establishing the story, establishing the world. I didn't think it was boring in any way, because how else are you gonna start a great adventure? You can't just throw us right in the middle of Marineford and be like, hey, this is the manga, right? So I think it was totally fine. Now, there are some parts later on that you could say are a bit slow, especially now compared to Marineford and these incredibly high action-packed arcs. But still, objectively, they're not bad, or at no point did I want to just stop and be like, this is boring. It's just that once you compare it to the other stuff, it's hard to compare, because it's such a different part of the journey, right? It's a different stage in the story.
I think Romance Dawn was definitely for me, right? Because I started with the anime. I think Romance Dawn it's faster in the anime, but at the same time, it's definitely one of those things that if you're watching it, it's not interesting enough, and it takes a lot of willpower to get through it.
I wouldn't say Romance Dawn in particular. I feel like there's enough curiosity and fascination in Romance Dawn to keep you grounded. But I think that when it comes to the next 2 arcs, Syrup Village is kind of terrible. On the first go through, it's bruh, this arc is so weak.
So I didn't think that Syrup Village was terrible. Before that, we had was Buggy. Was that part of Romance Dawn?
I believe, let me look it up, exactly where each arc ends.
Because after the whole Luffy backstory, he sets out on his journey, he meets Zoro, then he meets Nami, then we have the Buggy stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so the Buggy stuff is still considered in Romance Dawn. I think that Romance Dawn is a solid arc. It is a solid freaking arc. I like Romance Dawn a lot, and I think Buggy's, to this day, one of the best One Piece characters. And I feel like the way we introduce him as an early One Piece villain, and he's still a total meme, but 100% relevant. It's just brilliant. I love Buggy. My bad. That's actually Orangetown. So never mind all of that.
Chat here, Rancafe.tv, is telling us that Orangetown is the Buggy arc. And yeah, I thought that this was correct.
Romance Dawn is not Buggy.
On my first go through with Orangetown, I did not at all think Buggy was an interesting character. I'm going to tell you that right now. I thought he was a one-time villain that won't show up again because he sucks ass.
So
now, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, I had a very interesting thing around that time, because I obviously did not even know of the manga's existence right back then. And I honestly, personally thought that's where the story would have ended. I was like, oh, they're just going to kill off the main character. Cool, it's over.
When?
Yeah.
At what point?
This was like I guess it's a little after where Luffy's at the place where Roger got beheaded or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so,
Roguetown or Logtown.
Logtown, I guess.
Loguetown.
Yeah, that's where I thought One Piece would have ended. I genuinely thought so at the time.
Wow. Clearly, you haven't watched many anime at that point.
Not the strongest
Yeah,
person.
They're just gonna execute the main guy, and that's it. Just like roll
Why?
credits. Roll credits.
And in fact, the story continues following Buggy's dream.
No, I will say though, now in hindsight, with Marineford and Impel down, Buggy has become a much more interesting character, a much better meme. But when you guys were trying to talk about how Buggy is cool and underrated and all this stuff, when we were going through it the first time, Orangetown, I was like, what are you guys talking about? So I really do think that Buggy gains his coolness only later on.
His coolness is the fact that he was born. His conception created such a marvelous being into this world. But I agree. But imagine getting introduced to Buggy later. Like, they meet him for the first time in Impel Down. None of that would actually kick. It's the fact that he was such a meme villain from the very beginning that really makes...
Yes.
Yeah.
Precise. No, I agree with you. It's just that at the time when I had the limited knowledge of him, I didn't see what was the appeal. Because to me, I thought he was just going to be like that cat villain. What was his name?
Kuro,
yeah, who would never show up again because he's so lame.
Oh, you think Kuro will never show up again?
I hope he will not show up.
Very well. But I'm glad you mentioned Kuro, because bruh, Syrup Village arc was hard to get through. I think on a first time watch, Syrup Village is kind of weak. There are a lot of So the thing is, there are a lot of great moments in all these arcs. And there really are. And even going through it again, you see all these great moments. You know, it's like cutting down the mast of the ship and Kuro's funny claws that he picked up his glasses in a weird way. Like, there were a lot of jokes and memes, but when it comes to actually hitting you in the feels, you don't get any of that until Baratier. So I think it's easy to drop One Piece. It's really, really easy.
So for me, again, I didn't watch the anime, I read the manga. And Syrup Village, I would not say was hard to get through. I wouldn't say that. Because I was interested in Nami, Zoro, and Luffy at this point, not even knowing about Usopp. I was interested in them, and I wanted to see what happens to them, right? And I did think Usopp was a funny character. I liked his introduction, but definitely not a great arc by any means, because I thought Kuro's entire 3-year plan was a complete disaster. I thought he was a lame villain, and the plot there wasn't that compelling. But obviously the purpose of Syrup Village, the arc, is to introduce Usopp and to develop more the dynamic between the crew. And it does serve that purpose. So I wouldn't say it's bad or it made me want to drop it. Again, maybe the anime drags it out more. I don't know. But it definitely wasn't good.
You know, in the anime, it definitely felt like really long. And like I remember Usopp just being absolutely annoying. And for them to like turn around at the end and just have him join the crew, I was like, why? Just why? I don't want this guy.
So like,
and the Going Merry.
Think about everything that happened in the Syrup Village arc, and then recognize that it was 10 episodes.
Bro, Going Merry was introduced. Some people here apparently have a massive boner for the Going Merry.
Yeah, only when he died.
As they should.
I only like Going Merry when he died. While the Going Merry was still alive, kind of just a boat, bro.
So what is
the boat?
The Going Merry is like Van Gogh, bro?
Yes. Much like any good piece of art, it's only good after the art is
only
perished.
good when it's damn.
But the Baratier arc was fire. Baratier arc was actually great. I think that after Baratier arc was not hard to get through. The Sanji introduction was actually amazing.
Oh no, for sure.
You get introduced with that pompous dude saying, "Oh, I would like your best wine." Meanwhile, he planned in advance to get. This guy was playing like 4D chess, where he called them in advance to ask for a specific wine, so he could say, "I'll have your best wine." They'll give that wine. He'll guess the wine. They'll say you're correct, and he'll be like, "Bruh, huge flex." And then Sanji, this man is such a simp, but such a Chad at the same time. He has the properties of both Chad and Weeb. By the way, that right there was the first Brigo Easter egg. Pay attention, guys. I'm gonna quiz you at the end.
Is it an Easter egg if you point it out specifically?
No, pointing out the
it's
first
not...
one. I'm just pointing out the first
okay.
one, so you can get it. You can get to understand it. But you see, Sanji over here, he flexed on him pretty hard. He was like, "No, I got you the worst one, and you guessed it wrong, and you did this in advance. You suck." And it's like just humiliating the guy. And I have to say, you love to see it.
I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of the arcs in like early One Piece, like when they're first introduced the characters, like for a few of them, I didn't really immediately fall in love with characters. Like for instance, like Chopper and Sanji and even Nami, I didn't immediately fall in love with them. But with Sanji, when we first meet him, like I immediately was like, yeah, this guy is gonna be my favorite character, and like to this day, I absolutely love him.
Now, I hate to
I definitely
disagree with
you
Evan
about-
here. I hate to disagree
Yeah.
with you. But I will! Evan, I'm sorry, bro. How dare you say that you don't like Nami on her introduction? Her introduction was her best part.
I disagree. It wasn't her best part, but
her
it
best
was
part.
great.
Her introduction was like on the boat, right? In that
Her
one
introduction
episode.
was her kicking a pirate in the balls. Now that's
Yeah,
And
like,
then
pretty epic.
she also tricked those pirates and took their boat, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Nami's awesome. Her introduction was great. I loved her right away. She had her own agenda. She was working with
She's
the
a
pirates,
strong,
but not really.
confident woman.
Yeah. We also Sanji's. I thought his introduction was amazing, and I even like Chopper too. I like Chopper, so I don't know what you.
But we'll get to Chopper. In the Baratier arc, we have...
Will we get in the Chopper?
Hey, it's an Arnie reference. All right. Anyway, so speaking of the Baratier arc, I think we really got introduced one of the One Piece GOAT introductions. When it comes to introducing characters, One Piece is in a league of its own. Because you think you have your small enclosed arc where everything is just going according to plan. And then a new world power just drives in there. Chad! It just
You're talking
pops
about-
in, bro. I'm talking about
the
Hawkeye,
great-
Dracul, Mihawk.
Oh, I thought you were
Yes.
talking about the great Don Krieg, but yes.
And Duncan.
Mihawk introduction was amazing. So Baratier, I agree with you. Romance Dawn kind of did what it had to do, and it did it well. The other two arcs are okay, but we get important introductions of Zoro, Usopp, and Nami. But then Baratier really does get really good. We have the Mihawk introduction and the fight with Zoro. We have Sanji introduction, which is really cool. I also thought Sanji was a hilarious character. The Baratier is a great setting, very interesting. It's kind of the first very creative setting that shows you what's coming in the future because it's a floating restaurant and it's in the middle of the ocean and all that type of fun stuff. And obviously, Baratier gets emotional once we get a bit of Sanji's backstory and all that other fun stuff.
Sanji! Sanji's
I
backstory! Alright, anyway, you were saying?
I feel like that bit of backstory that we got for Sanji in that arc, for me, again, like, did just so much for me, as opposed to, like, you know, every other character where their backstory comes, like, a little bit later on, right? Like, Sanji's just, I don't know, man. I vibe with it really well.
Are we going to be
Yeah.
ranking or rating the arcs, Nux?
I would love to. You said you didn't want to. I'm still down.
So what would you rate these first four then?
Well, I mean,
Romance Dawn,
we didn't mention
Syrup
Arlong
Village,
yet.
Orange Town.
So, I don't know. I'd probably say Romance Dawn is a 7. Orange Town is a 7.5. Syrup Village is a 6. And Baratier is, I would say, also a 7.5. Or an 8. I'd say Baratier is an 8.
Yeah, I would switch Romance Dawn and Orange Town. I would say Romance would probably be 7.5. And then Orange Town 7. And then Syrup Village 6. And then I'd definitely give an 8 to Baratier.
Yeah. So
I
I very much, honestly, I would probably give Baratier an 8.69. Not gonna lie.
What
It's a solid ranking right
Second
there.
Easter egg,
That was not the
everybody.
second. You missed
Second.
2 Easter eggs so far. This was the 4th. Anyway, not gonna spoil what the others were. People in chat noticed one of them. I didn't see anyone notice the other. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Also in Baratier, we got the flag design. You know, the
We did.
iconic Straw Hat Pirates flag design.
Yeah, and also I think that some backstories were like they started really hitting home, like side characters' backstory. Like you got Zeph eating his own leg, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you start to realize that even though One Piece is following this dude and he's gathering his crew, at the end of the day, there's a whole world. And there are many pieces to this puzzle. And I think that Mihawk's introduction, just slapping everyone around, man, I was a Tower of God stan since day one, but it was better than the entire story.
So Baratier, definitely good and important things happening. Sanji, the flag, the backstory for Sanji with the Zeph, our boy Zeph. And then we go into Arlong Park.
Arlong Park. You see, this right here got me into One Piece. I liked One Piece when I first watched it, and I saw Baratier. I was like, damn, this Mihawk guy is actually amazing. Zoro's a fantastic character. The way right after that he said to Luffy, I'll never lose again, like I'm following your dream. All of this was amazing. But this arc, the Arlong arc, saved anime! Alright, maybe it's going a little too far. But the Arlong arc is freaking great.
It's almost safe to say that. It saved One Piece, that's for sure.
It did. This arc is, as a standalone, some of the greatest storytelling. At least until you see Marineford and you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Arlong Park was amazing because earlier, obviously, we met Nami. I liked her right away, and we knew some things about her, but there were clear mysteries. Like, why does she hate pirates so much? What is she really up to? Why is she stealing all this treasure? And then it all comes together in Arlong Park. And the moment where Nami is crying and Luffy puts his hat on Nami's head was the first truly epic emotional moment in One Piece.
Yes.
And it was the moment that I felt that I really understood the greatness of One Piece and why people love it so much, as opposed to it being just any show that's good. But why are people so committed to One Piece? And this was my first indication, and I love that moment. The whole Sanji backstory was emotional, but it wasn't as heartbreaking and yet inspirational.
When I think of all the
Nami
people
moment.
that drop One Piece before Arlong, it's so sad. This is so sad. I'm telling you, man, the Arlong arc has everything. It has your badass fights and your badass moments, and it also has your emotional high points. Like the four of them walking to Arlong Park with like the dun 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 in the background. Bro,
so
that
good.
scene is so good. It's etched in my mind. The four of them just looking down. He puts
yes,
and,
for sure.
Or after Zoro fights Hachi and he's like bleeding everywhere from his fight with Mihawk, and Arlong is just looking at him and he's like, how are you alive? How are you walking, let alone fighting?
I feel like that's one of the few moments in One Piece that's probably better to get through in the anime than the manga.
Yeah,
because it does it so well.
Yeah, so that's the thing. My manga wasn't playing any music while I was reading it, but I'll take it.
I implore you, if you ever have the time, watch the scene from the anime.
Yeah, but people tell me to do that for every
spine.
scene, man.
Yeah, no, I've told you for this
People
one
tell me to do that for
specifically.
every scene.
But the climax of the Arlong Park arc, it has your amazing character moments, your badass moments, and your emotional moments. It has all of that. It really does.
Yes. It has the action, the fights, all of it, yeah.
And even I think this is the first time I actually appreciated Usopp as a character until at one large point in the story, Usopp was my favorite character in One Piece. And him like, Usopp Hammer! Usopp Hammer! He was just whacking the Chu while he was on the ground, and he was like pulsating, and he's just like slamming him with his hammer again and again and again. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Usopp had some great moments in this one. And Hachi is another character that I never thought would be relevant again, and yet here we are.
I will agree with you on that. I really thought that he was like a one and done character.
Well, do you think that Arlong will still be relevant?
No.
Anyway, next arc.
I hate you.
Anyway, next arc. Oh wait,
hold on. We gotta give a ranking to this.
I'd give it a 9.
I would give it a 9. 9 or 9.5 for me.
Whoa.
I'm willing to give it a 9.
I'd give it a 9.
I'm saving.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 just because there's other crazy arcs later, and also
honestly,
Arlong himself wasn't as compelling of a villain as some other ones. Even though overall the arc is great, Arlong isn't that cool.
Well, I see. If he ever shows up again, which he probably won't, as we've already established, you may have a different appreciation of his character.
Fine.
But in all, I would give this arc a score of a 9.1276969 again.
You already said 8.5. How are you
I
not
said
giving it over
8.5 or 9, and now I decided. What's wrong with you?
Just fucking...
Well,
Oh my
I will
God.
give it a 0.1 more than whatever you give it.
Deal. Anyway, next arc, we have the Loguetown arc. It is a relatively short arc by standards, but I think it was actually amazing.
Also known as Roguetown.
Yes.
I mean, we got the sexy cowboy waifu introduction in this one.
I do like sexy cowboy waifus.
She was pretty
and,
sexy.
You know,
Yeah.
the past doesn't matter, bro. Like Luffy, it doesn't matter to me what you did in your past or what you look like in your past. If you're a sexy cowboy waifu now,
Yeah, be like
That's all
Luffy.
Yeah,
That's right.
this is where, like I said, I thought, Luffy was gonna die.
Believe in the Luffy that believes in you.
yeah. So in this one, Buggy comes back.
If the past of the currently sexy cowboy waifus approach you, do what Vegeta did to reporters and destroy them. Anyway. Moving
Yeah.
on.
So we had in this one we had Smoker, we had Zoro getting that sword, we had Luffy almost getting executed, Goldie Roger style. We had Dragon show up. Now we know it was Dragon. So he
That's
was
right.
there.
Dragon was there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Dragon was there. I think it's also great that, like, One Piece introduces a lot of mysteries. This definitely did that. Like, we had no idea who Dragon was, let alone that he was Luffy's dad at that point in the story. And he was a fascinating character even at that point. And speaking of fascinating characters, I'm going to go get a beer.
Yeah, you always get like little tidbits in One Piece where like it tries to establish the bigger picture of the world, but like I feel like Logtown does like a little bit more than some of like the early arcs before it, where like you said, you get all these other characters and we see the relevance of someone like freaking Buggy again, and so we start to understand like, wow, okay, this world is not only like larger than we thought. You know, a lot of these characters matter. Like characters that we thought didn't matter do actually matter to the story.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
it introduced us to like a really invincible seeming devil fruit, you know? It's like Smoker was bathing in the blood at that point, man. It was insane.
Was there anyone with like an insane devil fruit before Smoker at this point?
No,
There was no Logia.
there was no
before, right?
Logia.
Yeah, so he was the first one. Interesting. Yeah, man.
Evan, are you sure you
Yeah.
watched
So
One Piece?
this was also
Yeah, no. Wow. Of course I watch it, bro. It's been like a decade. What do you mean?
But I think that all this set aside, like we're saying a lot of great things about Loguetown, but at the end of the day, the symbolism in Loguetown is actually crazy. Like it's the symbolic starting of a journey where the former Pirate King ended. And this is the finale of the East Blue Saga where we're gathering our crew, and it's the crew, and it's the introduction to entering the Grand Line. Like, symbolically speaking, this arc is so powerful. Like, you see, that place that they were going to execute Luffy was the same place that they executed the Pirate King.
yes.
I love Loguetown. It's the epilogue town. That's why it's called that. It's a fantastic arc. I think it's an underrated arc as far as One Piece goes. I'd give it an 8 or an 8.5.
I'd give it an 8 too.
I'd give it an 8.
I would give it an 8. We also had, along with Smoker, we had the girl. What is her name? Tashigi or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that looks almost like Zoro's crush or whatever.
Yeah. So the thing with that was, yeah, we got Zoro's kind of backstory.
Well, we
and
got
why
Zoro
he-
getting a cool sword, too.
Yeah, we did.
I love that scene where Zoro just throws the sword up and he's like, well, let's see what's stronger, the sword's curse or my luck.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the ultimate Chad that he is. He sticks his arm out and everyone's just losing their mind. But who do you think
that's
he is? I am!
That tells us a lot about Zoro as a character, and going forward, you definitely see how that's consistent. It also tells us that the Marines are not all bad, because before we had some Marines that were very messed up, like Morgan and whatever, but now we have Smoker and Tashigi, and we see that some of them are actually good people,
That is
just
true.
trying to do good
But
things.
what I love
Yeah,
about
'cause, like-
introducing Smoker that way, he's not introduced as this morally good guy. Like, they don't say, meet Smoker, a lovely individual that cares about the lives of the people. No, he also seems like an antagonist in the beginning. But as his story progresses through Alabasta, like we see at the end of Alabasta where he doesn't, like, you know, attack Luffy after they help with Crocodile, you could then tell that Smoker's actually a good person. At this point, at Loguetown, we couldn't necessarily make that definition, but it was a great introduction, I think, to really.
You might
get
be
us
right.
to
I
start
might
believing.
be kind of thinking it too much in hindsight, but I did feel like Tashigi was always a pretty good character. Like a
Yeah, no,
good
Tashigi.
she always seemed like a character that thought for herself. But I guess if you really do think
Tashigi
about,
the Sword Simp. What a name! You love to see it.
if you think of the other Marines, I guess he wasn't a Marine at this point, but what's the little kid's name?
Kobe.
The one that joins the Kobe. Yeah, like I guess he thinks for himself, and he doesn't seem like all bad. And I guess for me, that's where I started to also realize,
and
hey,
no.
like not all Marines are bad people.
Yes and no, but he wasn't even a Marine. He couldn't become a Marine. Maybe
until he was
what
a
was he
little older,
missing?
yeah.
Maybe he was missing viciousness. Like you don't know. He wasn't able to become a Marine. But we didn't know any established Marines that weren't just antagonists.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, and it's funny because I said Helmeppo seemed like such a piece of shit when he was first introduced
really
way
was.
back in.
Yeah, goddamn.
Was it Orangetown? He was introduced.
Before. It was Romance Dawn. No, it was Orange. I don't remember. Whatever.
When he was introduced, he was such a dick that I was like, "This guy is probably the Aizen of One Piece."
Yes.
And then he did end up coming back.
So many chapters later, and it still is. We're still not sure.
He did end up coming back and being much more badass. So at least I called that he would be back. Whereas I didn't expect it with other characters.
I
But
can't
it was
believe
just-
you're
he
gonna
seemed
insult
so
Helmeppo like this,
overwhelmed.
Animac. He's like a son to me.
He's like a son to all of us.
Right.
What's the arc
Next
after
arc.
Loguetown? Is that
What?
We had Reverse Mountain, right?
We had Reverse
and
Mountain.
Then Whiskey Peak.
Indeed. Let's start with
Oh,
Reverse Mountain.
yeah?
Let's do one at a time. Sequential boys. That's us, by the way.
Yes, so Reverse Mountain is Laboon, bro. It's
Reverse
Laboon.
Mountain
Yeah.
is Laboon, another character that we didn't expect to become
That we
relevant
just
and emotional later.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we did kind of get the whole thing with him waiting for 50 years and the crew being like, "We'll be back, we'll see you again," type of stuff. So there was foreshadowing, but I loved when we introduced Brooke later and the whole backstory of Brooke. Man, that was so good.
Yeah, Brooke's backstory I think is one of the highlights of One Piece, like total.
Absolutely.
Like, but Laboon, I think getting to know Laboon and then making that connection so much later, it's like you've got to be kidding me. What?
I actually shed
The
tears,
scars
not gonna lie.
on the whale's face are more impactful than the scar on Todoroki. Freaking hate Todoroki.
Yeah, I can't believe when he first saw Laboon, Briggs was like, "It's just a whale, bro."
I literally just said that a few minutes ago. But anyway,
I mean,
so-
I will say, obviously, when you do first see Laboon, you will probably just think it's just the whale. But like, yeah, honestly, he grows on you.
just
so.
like in the beginning when you meet the Going Merry, you think it's just a boat.
It's just a boat, exactly.
Then
But
you
later
realize
it
this
becomes
boat was
shit.
like a son to me and a father. This boat's like a father and a son to me.
Okay, I think you're more Briggs than Nux now. I think you need to dial it back a bit.
You know what you love to see, Animac?
What?
It. You love to
Yeah.
see
You
it.
love to
Anyway,
see it.
we also had Crocus in this arc.
Yeah, and Crocus reveals Raftel, which is
Ba,
the final,
ba, ba-da-da-da, ba-da. Anyway, continue. Yeah, you were saying?
final island in the Grand Line, which we think may or may not be significant, and probably is, let's face it.
Raftel? We
It's
never
the-
hear about it again.
It's the stuff of legend.
Yeah. It was so weird. Even though Evan has a phobia of fish, he liked Laboon. Now that's respect.
I mean, who doesn't like Laboon? Let's be honest.
People with a fear of mammals?
Do they
And
exist? Is that
Evan,
a real thing?
If that phobia exists, you probably have it. So, like,
No, but you would
Anyway.
hate yourself. That doesn't make sense.
And yeah, the other thing about Raftel is apparently Gold D. Roger and his crew were the only ones able to reach it, and we know that Rayleigh is part of that crew, so... You know what I'm saying?
who knows? Rayleigh does have a cool beard, though. How it comes out of, like, 6 parts of his face at the same time. This is crazy. The
And
teamwork
by the way,
of that
this is
beard.
now the... In terms of sagas, we are now in the Alabasta saga.
We
Reverse
are
Mountain
indeed.
is the first
Crocus was so
Alabasta
fun, though.
saga.
Like, another thing I like about One Piece is, there's this concept in real life as well. Respect the elders. Just like they have more life experience, they have more knowledge. Like, respect
Correct,
them.
yes.
Like, just because of that, Like, Crocus kind of does that. He doesn't get introduced as this imposing figure when it comes to power, but, like, every single line he says, like, he says something. And then it like, the screen, he's like, what is it? He's like, what is you? They say to Crocus says, what's your name? They say. And then they say, Crocus, what's your name? And then Crocus just, like, stares at them viciously. And they're all like, and, like, the screen pans from Crocus to Nami. Crocus, Zoro, Crocus, Sanji. And it's, like, getting zoomed further into Crocus. And everyone's like, oh, my God. And he's like, my name is Crocus. And then they're like, what was all that suspense for? What were you doing? And then it's like, okay. And then they say, what are you doing here, old man? And then, no, Crocus says, what are you doing here? It's, oh, we got trapped here. What are you doing here? Crocus like, and he starts staring at them again. Then it zooms into Nami, Crocus, Zoro, Crocus. And it's like, God damn. And it's like super intense. You can cut the tension with a knife. I don't know why I'm here. And they're like, what? They're just losing their mind.
The comedic timing of the anime definitely like did well for that moment.
But also, despite all of this and the goofball Crocus was, there is a tremendous respect we had for Crocus, just due to the knowledge he possessed, and I did like that.
Yeah, and it's really hard to rank an arc that's 4 chapters compared to arcs that are 60 chapters.
And
so,
yet
like, I don't know
we're doing it anyway.
What would you give then, just Reverse Mountain?
7.5.
Yeah, I'd give it a
7.5. 7.5.
I give it a 7 or 7.5 too, because I loved the concept of how you get into the Grand Line and this big adventure is beginning. You really get that sense of adventure and something big is happening. You get important world building stuff. In hindsight, Crocus and Laboon and Raftel seem much more important than at first. So on its own, the arc is very short, but it's very important as well as we go on.
Yeah. And speaking of very short, important arcs, we have Whiskey Peak.
Okay. So this is the arc that I personally have like no fucking memory of. Like, I've talked to Daniel about this, and like, you know, he re-explained it all to me.
Evan, you gotta use your big brain.
Who the fuck is Daniel?
Daniel Rustage. He plays croquet in France.
Bro, his name is Rustage. What are you talking about, Daniel?
Okay, Rustage. I'm sorry, but like Whiskey Peak in the anime is 4 episodes, and to me, I feel like they are the most forgettable 4 episodes because I still can't tell you what they're about. I just know that it was 4 episodes.
Dude, you didn't remember Dragon was in Loguetown. You think this is... Anyway, this arc was amazing. We had Zoro taking on all of Whiskey Peak. He took down Baroque Works, man. He single-handedly fought off 100 men.
Whiskey Peak is all about Baroque Works, and Princess Vivi is introduced in Whiskey Peak.
And also the one guy that goes, "Mama, mama," and then shoots bullets out of his hairdo, which is manly as hell.
But yes, I thought the Zoro fight scene where he takes on the whole crew, the whole island pretty much, was extremely cool. And it kind of gives you a sense of how strong Zoro is. Because we have these crewmates now, they're traveling together, but it's hard to compare them to what the people are going to be like in the Grand Line. And you see here that Zoro is still way stronger than like the regular criminal or pirate or whatever.
Evan, you're supposed to rebuttal the fact that you were just destroyed.
No, well, I mean, look, hey, I can't remember it, bro. I just can't. Like, I remember Vivi, of course, and obviously everything that happened after that. But like,
Did you watch the anime or read the manga, Evan?
I watched the anime, but like, I mean,
there was Zoro versus Luffy in the anime. They fought. We got introduced to the guy that with number Mr. 5 with exploding boogers.
I remember Mr. 5, yes.
He has exploding booger.
But
that's the one. Hold on, that's the one where Luffy thinks Zoro is being a dick for attacking the people.
Yes, Zoro wipes out all these bandits that tried to kill them after they drugged everyone, and then Luffy wakes up. He's like, "They gave us food. What's wrong with you?"
Yes, that was so fun.
Yeah, it was fire.
Bro, for the life of me, I genuinely cannot remember that.
All right, the good news is Tekking's online. I'm gonna switch you out, Evan.
Oh God!
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. But Tekking, if you're watching. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyway, next arc. Oh, ranking. I'd give it an 8.
8? I wouldn't give it an 8.
Okay, 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
Next arc. We got Little Garden. This arc sucked. I'm kidding. It was okay.
It was okay. We got the whole island of Elbaf stuff, right?
It's the one with
Yeah.
the giants, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I love that arc. It was like,
Evan-
it's sure it's
Evan-
called Little Garden, but the
Evan,
whole
you're
play on words is
humiliating
that-
yourself.
No, it's
This is an
first of all,
entire episode of just how bad can Evan's taste get.
what do you mean? How bad can my taste get? I'm just saying it's a play on words. It's called Little Garden, but it's about these giants, and it's like the most wholesome thing.
It's very wholesome how they kill each other, right?
It's
Look,
there's some good world
okay.
building in this one. We have the giants.
Yes,
They
there's good
tell us
world
about their island. We learn about Alabasta. Vivi is more fleshed out as a character, and we have the epic moment where Sanji tricks Crocodile into getting the eternal pose that leads them to Alabasta.
It does have that epic moment. No, there are a lot of good moments. I think that this moment, solidified Sanji and Zoro's rivalry. Like, when they were like, I can hunt bigger animals! Like, and they started just, like, competing with each other.
Yeah.
It also gave us a weird ecosystem. Until now, the islands were relatively tame. It was more about the inhabitants of the islands that were interesting. And this is the first time we're seeing an actual island with a wacky ecosystem, which I thought was cool.
Good point. Good point.
I also liked that one time Zoro was turning into wax and he struck a cool pose. And they were like, what are you doing? He's like, if you're going to turn into a wax statue, at least get a cool pose. Cha-ha.
Yes, exactly.
And then he was
Also,
like,
he had-
I'm going to cut my legs off to escape. They were like, no, what are you doing? He's like in the middle of cutting his legs off.
Yeah, and he
He
also
was
had that
kidding.
epic fire swords moment. Remember that?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Anywho, Evan remembered the Whiskey Peak arc as well as I remember Rem, so that was kind of disappointing. But,
Wow. At least I remembered Little Garden. Okay.
anyway,
Well, Little Garden, I'd give it like a, what would you give, like a 7?
7.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
this is One Piece standard 7, not like 7 compared to like
Not like 7 in like other shows. It's a
Fairy
One Piece
Tail.
7.
yeah.
Next arc, Alabasta arc. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Another arc that made me shed some tears.
Good, Evan.
No, wait, Drum Island is before Alabasta.
Oh, you're right. Drum
Oh, yeah,
Island
they-
arc. I tried to
Touche,
skip
touche.
Chopper. It didn't work.
Yeah.
You forgot the best villain of all time, Wapol.
Wapo! Oh my god, you're actually right. Wapo's like a son to me.
And this was another island where the environment played a key role, right, Nux?
Yeah.
Yes, but the environment was just that it's cold. But anyway, I thought the ecosystem was so much cooler on Little Garden. But you did have a very epic moment in this arc. 2 epic moments in this arc. One was Luffy climbing up the mountain.
Yes.
He was like climbing up. Nami was on his back. Sanji was in his teeth, and he was just climbing through like the grueling, blistering cold. His fingers are falling off, bleeding from his fingernails. And he gets to the top, and he's like, "Heal my friends." Like, I think that moment was fantastic. And also, Dr. Hiruluk's speech was great because this is another instance of an elder that deserves respect, not for his power, but for his philosophy, and how he says, "A man is only dead when he is forgotten. Carry out my legacy." That was very powerful.
Yeah. And of course, we had Chopper introduced. I
And
like
we
Chopper's
had the
backstory.
MILF of MILFs.
Okay. That would be a GILF.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
she's definitely a gilf, bro.
Know your MILF philosophy.
My
please.
bad, bro. Please forgive me.
Yeah, so there were some great moments in this. Again, Wapol, not the best villain, but a very successful toy maker. So, and Chopper, I liked his backstory, and I liked how he ends up joining the crew, because Chopper is this guy who was, and also he introduces us to zone fruits and a lot of specifics about zone devil fruits.
Yeah.
But Chopper was this guy who kind of was an abomination in some ways. He wasn't a reindeer. He wasn't a human. He wasn't fitting in anywhere. And so this is always in the back of his mind, and he doesn't know if he'll ever find real friends. And then at one point, Luffy's just like, "You have a friend right here, and shut up.
You got a
shut up and
friend
come
in
with
me?
us."
See, I describe Chopper as like a self-insert character.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
at that
because
point
he's
in the
also
story.
sad, lonely, pitiful, and broke. Or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's essentially what he was, though. And like, I mean, it's not bad. It's just I didn't really care for him back then. Obviously, like Chopper grew on me like as the story went on, but like at that point, yeah, he was just like a whatever character. And for me, that arc was just slow. And I don't know if it was on purpose, but like especially in the anime, it just felt really, really slow getting through that arc.
Yeah, so for the manga, I didn't necessarily feel that way. I thought it was fine. And yeah, so we had the whole moment where Luffy's like, just shut up and come with us to Chopper. I thought that was really cool.
Come to the
And,
chopper!
And a bunch of other stuff happened too, like little stuff that ended up being relevant later. We had Ace. He was pursuing Blackbeard on Drum Island. And you also asked about Luffy, so that happened. We also had the reveal about Gold Roger versus Gold D Roger. So the Will of D was referenced here.
Oh.
Oh, and Dalton said, medicine can't cure stupidity. Still one of the best quotes.
Bro, he was so right. This is why Evan is a self-insert character.
Oh, and Dragon was identified. In this one, Dragon was identified as a revolutionary who is becoming a threat to the world government.
We got Ace. I like Ace. Remember when Ace was still alive? Good times.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Sad moment for Ace.
Yeah. Rip.
So what do we give Drum Island?
I would give Drum Island a 7.
I'd give it a 7.5.
I'd also give it a 7. It's still a fine arc. It's just definitely not one of my favorite arcs.
Again, so this is not like a perfect arc because the villain isn't as compelling, but yet interesting things happen. Chopper backstory, Chopper as a character, an epic moment with Luffy and the climbing. So it has its charms for sure. And then next up is Alabasta.
Alabasta, you gotta
An arc
love
that actually
this arc.
matters.
God damn. God damn.
Yeah, so we had Crocodile introduced and his whole shtick. On the one hand, he's a hero to the people. On the other hand, he's running a secret organization, scheming to overthrow the government. And he happens to be a warlord. So that guy is wearing a lot of different hats.
Bro, this is where the best member of the crew, who's totally not a member of the crew, but still is a member of the crew, was introduced.
Oh, come away, brother!
Play.
What?
Yeah.
No, Vivi.
Bon Clay, our boy, what a legend. Another character we didn't expect to show up again, but then showed up again and blew our expectations because it turns out he himself was better than the entire anime of Tower of God.
Bro, Bon Clay is definitely a better character than Vivi. I'm not even...
Oh, not even close. They're not even in the same league. I'd fap to Vivi faster than Bon Clay, but I would rather wife up Bon Clay than Vivi.
But you know what? I guess that's fair.
That is the best gauge of measuring characters ever. I can't believe I just thought of that.
I can't believe that you just said that. Let's be honest.
I could.
We had... In the beginning of this arc, we had more
That was a Brigo
Ace
reference
stuff.
right there.
We had Ace... We had Ace meeting Smoker. And then Smoker reveals who Ace is, that he's a division commander for Whitebeard's Pirates. We also learned that Ace has the flame fruit, and that he is Luffy's brother, who is 3 years older than him.
Good times. Good times.
And also the Blackbeard thing. We learned that Blackbeard is being wanted by Ace for killing one of the fellow
Whitebeard
commanders.
pirates. Yeah, I thought the whole Blackbeard introduction idea was cool. Like, obviously setting up for a little side story that happens with Ace. It's not that important in the overarching story, but I think it was pretty important, that whole thing, I guess, in the background. You know what I'm saying? But
we also
I
got
think
Mrs. Doublefinger.
we got
She's
Mrs.
very
Doublefinger,
hot.
but I still think that one of my most memorable moments from Alabasta, Mr. Prince.
Oh gosh.
Mr. Prince is absolutely one of it's my favorite Sanji moment in all of One Piece. I think that it is one of the coolest One Piece ideas. It is so good. It's beautiful. I love it so much. It's so nice. God damn. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that whole fight with Bon Clay, Sanji versus Bon Clay.
No, not the fight with Sanji and Bon Clay, with him in the casino and he called Crocodile and Crocodile answered and he's like, "Hello, Mr. Zero. I am Mr. Prince." He's like, "Who the flip are you?"
Because Mr. Prince was also mentioned during that fight, I believe, right?
Bro, where were you during this arc? I understand wanting to have a bad memory because it means you're playing life on hard mode. That's why I don't wear glasses. But I mean, dude, Mr. Prince, bro.
Okay, no. Okay.
I feel for me, one of the things that was most memorable about Alabasta as well was, Chopper and Usopp versus like those two guys.
Yeah, that was cool.
What are
Yeah,
they? Like Miss Christmas and the other one?
Yeah,
the
Miss
dog
Christmas and the other
gun
one.
fruit. The
I don't
dog
remember what
gun
the other
fruit.
one was. But no, that fight was really cool because then you like I feel like it was then that I got to see Usopp like finally being useful in a sense, right? Like sure he had his like moments where he obviously did things, but like this just seemed like a fight that like they couldn't win. And yet they somehow pulled through.
Yeah, and poor Usopp broke his nose and his skull, but still pulled through because he's a brave warrior of the sea with 50,000 pirates behind him, as he said. And we had a lot of cool moments, and we also got Luffy actually tasting his first crushing defeat to Crocodile.
Yes, so Crocodile obviously has a sand Logia fruit, and at first Luffy has no idea how to defeat it, and Luffy is beaten by Crocodile and almost killed, and he is mysteriously saved by Robin. And this is also the arc where we really learn more about Robin. She talks about the Will of D a bit more. So a lot of world building is happening here with the whole Alabasta thing. We get politics, we get a attempted revolution / overthrow of power. We get a lot of character development, and it really is an amazing, amazing arc.
Yeah, but what I mentioned, aside from what you just said, is that until this point in One Piece, Luffy never took a big L. This is the first, like, it's a reality check that Luffy took a fat L. Like, he was destroyed. Like, with the hook impaling him, carrying there, bleeding out. He, like, at that moment could have ended his entire career. That was the first big loss he's taken in the series. And I think that's very impactful. Like,
Yeah, it really
he's not some infallible guy.
Yeah, it sets the stage for the Grand Line, because the Grand Line is a big challenge. It's not just something you're gonna, run through without any problems and setbacks.
But speaking of running through without any problems and setbacks, I'd give this arc a 9.
We also had the quote, "There comes a time when a man's got to fight, and that's when someone makes fun of their friend's dream."
We also got Pell and the Will of P, but no one cares. I'd give it a 9.
I'd give it.
I give it a 9 as well. I give it a 9 as well. It is in many ways a perfect arc, but then you have more One Piece arcs that are even more perfect. So probably this arc in any other anime or manga would be a 10, but just One Piece standards, it's a 9.
Next arc, it's the beginning
it...
of a new saga. It's the Jaya arc, my friends. I'm singing to interrupt anime.
Okay, man, listen.
It was working until he started talking.
Dude, just
okay, anyway, yeah, continue.
I think I should give it a 9.5 because I remember when I was reading it, I felt like it was the perfect arc.
Shut up, Nux. There we go.
The thing that makes this arc really interesting compared to some other arcs is that the villains are very compelling here. They have a clear goal. They have a clear ideology. They have all these mysterious aspects to them. They were working behind the scenes, setting everything up. So I would say that this is an arc where you really get a really interesting villain on top of all the other positive things that are happening. So I'll give it a 9.5 because I do think it was better than Arlong Park.
I do think that
I gave Arlong a 9.
Crocodile is a fantastic villain. Like, as far as villains go, he does stand out. Until, of course, he gets overshadowed by future villains in One Piece. But at least at this point, goddamn, that's a good character.
Wasn't that one of the first points, too, that Luffy had to, like, use his brain to, like, beat someone instead of just, like, hitting them really hard?
Yes, he has to use strategy to beat Crocodile, which I thought was really cool.
Music was
and
really
he needed
good
Robin's help to survive the poison. Oh, and we got the whole poneglyph stuff in this arc as well. So much world building happened here.
'Twas a good arc, but we need to finish the episode today, not tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
And we also learned that Tashigi was hot without her glasses. So
Nuxie boy.
okay, Jaya Nuxie.
Jaya, I like it. 8.5. Bellamy's one of the greatest villains of all time. What do you think?
Bellamy sucks.
I think so. I think, unfortunately, Jaya introduces. Okay, I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately. It's a very important arc because we get introduced to a lot of very important people here. But I did not like it.
What the flip, man? Why are you here? I miss Briggs.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know why wouldn't you like Jaya? I loved the world building in that arc, and I loved the concept of Skypiea. So Jaya is in many ways a prequel or like a setup for Skypiea.
It definitely is a prequel to Skypiea, and I fucking love Skypiea, but like, Jaya was like that calm before the storm, right? And it was just too much of a calm for me because coming off the hype of Alabasta, and then we go into Jaya, and I was like, okay, why? Like, I want things to stay at 11.
I love how Evan
They're
started
back down
off
to like 6.
Evan started off. One Piece is like my favorite anime, and then
No,
here
it
he
is.
comes.
It definitely is.
Here comes Evan, humiliating not only himself.
I'm allowed to not like certain aspects about my favorite show.
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
You're not.
You are.
You're supposed
You
to
are
skip
allowed.
them. Skip arcs.
But
that are bad.
What?
Just
The
skip
issue
arcs.
is that I disagree with Evan in terms of I want it to be at 11 all the time. I need a break, an emotional and mental.
But you didn't get
Chill
one because
period.
we got Bellamy the hyena, legendary character. And I've said it
Okay.
before, but I'll say it again. Every antagonist in One Piece is brilliant in its own way because I don't think you've heard this before, Animac. I don't think I've ever told you my whole long speech on this. I was saving.
Yes, you did. So
I
don't
didn't
bother, bro.
I didn't tell you this
You
one.
did.
I didn't tell you this one. You'll notice that every antagonist in One Piece has their own ideal and their own like grand plan. And
I heard this.
you
the
didn't
speech, man.
hear this. Anyway, they had their own grand plan, and after they get defeated and their plan gets thwarted, Luffy adopts that plan. I didn't mention this before because you didn't see enough villains to appreciate it. At this point, really, you notice it most in the second half of One Piece. But something really amazing about One Piece villains in general is they have a perverted way of trying to get their goal. Luffy will thwart them in a way that they cannot feel accomplished about their goal, and then Luffy, in turn, will accomplish that goal that the villain set out to do. It's a theme that happens in One Piece again and again and again, and I'm obviously not going to tell you future villains, but you see it with Bellamy when it comes to Bellamy not believing in dreams and all of that, being the only antagonist in One Piece to combat dreams. You see it in Blackbeard, at least he didn't defeat Blackbeard yet, but Blackbeard's dream is this ultimate freedom, which is something that Luffy is going to want to adopt as well. Every single One Piece antagonist has something fantastic about them that Luffy ends up at some point adopting. I didn't come up with this. This is like a very old One Piece theory that people have been talking about for like a decade. So that's why you probably never heard it, because you weren't really in the community. But it's very cool that this is the case. And I think Bellamy, he's not a fantastic character necessarily by his own right as a standalone, but as a contrast to Luffy as a protagonist, coming as the one person in this world to thwart dreams when this whole island is about this whole arc is the impossibility of a flying island. I think it's great, and I love Jaya. And Jaya also introduces Blackbeard, who's the antithesis of this philosophy, because Blackbeard is the one that spurs Luffy on and tells Luffy to follow his dreams. So I think it's a great
and
arc.
I agree that Blackbeard introduction was very cool here. I did not think Bellamy was interesting at all, but we've already had this debate, so we don't have to keep going.
It wasn't a debate, it was a slaughter.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I'd give it an 8.5. You'd give it a 6 because you suck.
I'd give Jaya like an 8. I think that
After all that, he gives it an 8.
I really liked the whole Nolan stuff, the backstory.
A
all
man's
of that
dream
was
will
really
never die.
Yeah, all of it was good and a good setup for Skypiea. And then when we get into Skypiea, and even Jaya is part of it, obviously, because the two are so connected, you really get that creativity about the world and the world building that then just keeps going with all the different settings like Water 7, like Impel Down, like
You know what else keeps going?
all the other cool things.
The Mary.
Well, until it doesn't. though.
Right, because it's the going Anyway, moving on. Clearly, you're not good at wordplay. The next
Yeah, I'd give it
arc. No, it's okay.
an
You didn't
8.
understand. You
8.
don't need to. You don't need to try and defend yourself. It's all good.
Evan, your rating?
Yeah, I would give it like a maybe 6.
What the
Wow.
flip? What the hell is
Wow.
he even doing here? I don't understand.
I'm kidding.
So
I'll give
you-
it a 7.
Damn it.
I'll give it a 7.
You're not
There's
kidding.
actually
You're not. Don't give
No,
it a
no, no,
7 for
no, no,
my
no,
sake.
No.
Live
No,
with the
no, I'm not
shame.
giving- No.
Use
I'm
code
giving it-
Briggs.
no,
Get some
there is
G
no
Fuel.
shit. Here's the thing. That is a joke. I am giving it a 7, but there is one arc that I actually just flat out don't like, and I will get to it eventually. But yeah,
Next arc is Skypiea.
Next arc is Skypiea, and I thought it was very cool how at the end of Jaya, going into Skypiea, we had Blackbeard attempt to catch the Straw Hats and fail, and be like, well, get you next time, bruh.
so
Someone in chat just said Wimpanito. I like it.
I love Skypiea because like this is where like obviously at the end of Jaya going into Skypiea, we learned that there's like we already know there's a lot to this world, but like we didn't know like there's like more to this world in the sky, right? Like that's just insane. And they're just toting this sky island, and you're like, what? That's ridiculous. But you get there and you're like, holy crap, this is a thing.
Yeah, Skypiea takes the creativity, the world building to the next level. We also get Eneru, or also known as Enel, who has an amazing lightning-based Logia, which is just so overpowered. And
now that we're actually in the we're ahead of this, we can. It's not really a spoiler anymore, but he's the first introduction we had to hockey, like the first real deal hockey. Like his mantra was hockey, and
observer hockey, right?
so he
Or
had this
observation
crazy
hockey.
observation hockey that he can hear anything that goes on in the entire Sky Island. Then he would dole justice upon them. Like I very much think that he was a fantastic antagonist as well.
Yeah, he was really cool. And the world building again with Skypiea, you get a lot of the history of the world. You learn more about the Void Century. It might be even the first time it's directly mentioned. More poneglyphs. Goldie Roger was there.
What?
He was the one that signed
kidding, I
himself
knew
on the
that.
poneglyphs, right?
He didn't sign it.
That happened. So yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff, a lot of world building, a lot of history, and a great villain.
I
Bro,
think
I can't
in
believe.
Skypiea they built up NL so much, right? And it was so worth it at the end too, because like it's a long arc in the anime, and you spend a lot of time, just talking about how like overpowered this god is, because they tell you he is a god, and then like Luffy meets him, and it's like, oh wait, this guy uses like lightning, and Luffy uses rubber.
God.
And I just thought it was just fantastic. It was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
okay,
think
Luffy was the
Sanji
perfect
has a
thing
pretty
for him.
freaking awesome moment there too. I need a light, He just gets fried by Enel, and he's still standing there holding a cigarette.
Oh yeah, that was a great.
Yeah,
that was a
pretty
great
cool.
moment when they go to rescue Nami, or right? Nami
Yeah.
and Usopp were
Look,
there.
I simp for Sanji, so I gotta mention my boy.
And of course, Skypiea finishes the true story of Noland, right?
Nolan the liar.
In reality, he's Noland, the epic hero.
Thanks, Animac, for pointing that out. I didn't notice. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a great arc. I've mentioned this before, but this arc is an encapsulation and an embodiment of all of One Piece. It's like, and I think that's really cool because
How do you compare Skypiea with Alabasta
you
in terms of which is better?
I preferred Alabasta, to be honest, but I think that Skypiea is cool because it's its self-contained story. Because it's like you got your build-up, you got your climax. It doesn't necessarily tamper with the world below all that much. It's just a fantastic adventure, and I think that as far as like, it's a microcosm of the entire wacky One Piece story, and I very much appreciate it for that purpose. And I would give it an 8.5.
I'll give it a 9 because I think it was not quite as good as Alabasta, which I ended up giving a 9.5, but it was up there. It was up there, man.
Yeah, I'd also give it a 9. I think it's good.
Hell,
It was up there, man.
Get it up there? Yeah, no.
I don't get it. Can you explain it to me?
Yeah. Then we had G8, which is a filler arc. But the reason I bring it up, guys, is because we had another crew member introduced, Condi Oriano.
Absolute legend.
So I think we do have to talk about it.
Yeah, we also got the
So
Cloud Bouterman.
So it's funny you bring up G8 because I remember I was talking to Rustage about this and he did not really want to acknowledge that.
Who are you talking to?
Rustage.
You mean Daniel?
Oh, what? I hate you so much.
It's Rustage. It's Rustage. I mean, G8 isn't great compared to like the other amazing arcs. There's no emotional moments and stuff like that. It's mostly comedy, whereas every other great arc has comedy, but also really emotional, high stakes moments. But again, Con Oriano.
I think Usopp had some moments where you were just dying laughing. As far as filler goes, it's definitely the top tier. I think Jonathan or whatever his name was a great Marine. He was a good guy. He was also tactical and smart, not just like this burly guy with an axe for a hand whose son had a hammer gun. Like, I think that's always you love to see it. But
his wife Jessica, bro, come on.
Dude, don't go after a man's wife. What the hell's wrong with you?
No, I'm praising his wife.
Anyway, so
I feel like for me this arc was amazing because like this is where like in the anime, right, the Going Merry Falls, it breaks obviously, but then like we don't really get time to like dwell on that because now they're like already in this like, you know, marine fort of sorts and like they have to
a marine fort.
It's
marine
a
fort.
It's a fort.
Marine?
Bro.
No, bro, it's not. It's a base.
It's a fort.
Oh,
it's
a base.
Thesaurus. Hold on, I'm going to thesaurus.com right now.
Base.
No, it's true. It's true. I remember Nux being annoying with base. So
base.
He's right. He's right.
Checkmate, simp.
Hold on. Hold on.
He checkmated. It's over.
You know,
checkmate. OMG, simp.
Okay.
So people in the chat, I'm not sure if this is true. I haven't noticed this, but people in the chat are saying that Jonathan ended up being canon in Marineford.
So he was like a side character. Oda did draw him in like a panel, I think, or something.
Hey, that's all we need, Bridge. That's all we need.
Yeah. But he didn't have a wife. No! Anyway, moving on. Let's not cry over it. We got the Lolly Investigator arc, also known as Evanito's tragic backstory.
Hey.
No, but in all
long land.
Well, we didn't
arc
rank
is the
G8,
next one.
but it's a filler, so it doesn't deserve a ranking. Next,
Yeah,
we got
yeah.
long ring, long land.
Afro Luffy.
This arc is freaking underrated. Okay, it gets so much hate when it's genuinely hilarious.
So it's actually my most hated arc, but I love Afro Luffy.
I love
You
this arc in
racist.
terms of its humor. Obviously, again,
How am I racist?
I don't need to explain it to you, Evan.
Oh, Nux.
I like Afro
Explaining
Luffy.
that to
What?
you is
What?
a weak mindset.
What?
Evan, you were like a son to me.
Oh my god.
I think that this arc, again, it's not as high stakes and emotional, but it's hilarious. And we do get some interesting moments. Like we get Doflamingo beating up Bellamy, which was great. I enjoyed that immensely.
And we also got Aokiji showing up and, you know, bitch
Yeah, at
slapping
the end,
Luffy.
right? Was that at the end or the beginning?
That was at the end.
Okay, yeah.
And that was great.
We had Nami doing cool things.
We had everyone did
cheating
cool
was so-
things. I think all in all, it was a great comedy arc. I loved the Doflamingo and Aokiji moment. Aokiji is still a fascinating character to this day, and that was a fantastic way to introduce an admiral. That all said and done, I would give the Thriller Bark arc. I'm talking
Oh god.
the Long Ring, Long Land arc. My bad. I would give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I think that's a fair ranking. 7.5. It was really funny,
What is
and
happening out
like you said, there were moments that end up tying in really well. And there was the whole Sanji versus Zoro weird football match,
Yeah.
whereas they were on the same team but they were fighting each other. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I give
Next
this arc
arc.
an Afro Luffy out of 10.
That's pretty racist, Evan. Next
How-
arc, we have the Water 7 arc. This is the first 10 out of 10 arc in One Piece for me.
Ah, interesting.
I think that Luffy versus Usopp, to this day, is top 3 One Piece fights.
And I agree with you. I actually agree with you there.
It was amazing.
That was
it was emotional.
the setting itself is just amazing, and the world building, like we have to get into that as well, because we have everything from cool water trains to Venice on steroids to
Yeah.
all
We
this
met some
background
characters
about
that were pretty
Tom.
super.
Yes, absolutely. Rob Lucci and the gang, Khalifa, Khalifa,
Mia Khalifa or
Absolute
like regular
queen.
Khalifa?
the
Who's
regular.
Mia Khalifa?
I never heard of her.
neither
Anyway,
have.
next we had the CP9 introduced. Or
Yeah.
as Evan likes to call them, the CP9999999.
I've never done that in my life, I'll have you know. But I will say, Rob Lucci is literally my favorite, like, to this day, right? He is my favorite antagonist in One Piece.
I did really like that twist when it turns out that, you know, who CP9 actually were. I thought that was a really cool twist. It wasn't something that I saw coming.
Coming.
Uh,
Anyway, so I didn't see it coming the first time either, but overall, this arc with the Frankie house, with Usopp, just like you could see him he was in a downward spiral. Like he started off the arc, he was in charge of holding on to the money that they got from the gold, and like he got robbed, and then he figured out that the boat had no hope, and then he wanted, like, he did everything he could, and there was nothing. Everything was slipping out of his hands, and he just felt useless. Because in his mind, he's not the strongest fighter. What is the one thing he contributed to the crew? The going merry. He felt purposeless, and you could see it. He snaps and he challenges Luffy to a fight, and with the climax of that fight being Usopp actually putting up a good fight. Like, he used the dials, he used his brig brain. Like, he really freaking tried. And he lost again! And they kicked him out! And Zoro was saying this is Luffy's big captain moment. Until this point, everything was happy-go-lucky when it came to the inner workings of the crew. This is when he had to take a stand.
So I've had this argument with people where like some people like tell me they don't think that Luffy was like putting his all into that fight, but I mean I personally feel like Luffy respected Usopp enough that like he treated it as like a real fight that he had to get through.
yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah, and like I've had some people tell me they're like, no, Luffy definitely didn't try in that fight. I'm like, no, like he respected Usopp. Like I don't think he would do that to Usopp where he'd hold himself back.
And you know how much Luffy cares about his crew. So
Yeah.
that fight was also a part of it was for his crew and for his, you know, doing his captain's duty. So I don't think he would take that for granted.
No.
Exactly. And I don't think Zoro would respect him if he held back in that fight.
No.
Yeah, and Zoro would know if he held back, and he would have said something.
So by all the Ona holes invested in Evan, I give this arc a 10 out of 10.
I mean, I don't think it's as a perfect arc in that sense. I think
I can't give it a 10 because the next
I
arc
wouldn't give it a
is
10.
my perfect 10. For me, this is still like a 9.5.
other things we got in this arc is we got more about Robin, but not all of it. We got Soga Kingu.
He lives in your heart, bro. He lives in your heart. He's like Pickle Briggs.
Yeah, we learned more about
Sorry.
we learned more about Frankie, about Tom. So world building was definitely there in this one as well. I'm debating between 9 and 9.5, but because we got Khalifa and Fishnets, 9.5.
All right. Next arc, Enies Lobby. Another 10 out of 10. This arc had everything you want in a shonen climax. We got introduced to the world power that is the world government, a very powerful antagonistic force that will reign supreme throughout the entirety of the One Piece story. We got the traumatic Buster call and how it tied in thematically to Robin's backstory. We got freaking annihilated emotionally with that I Want to Live scene that will echo throughout time as one of the most powerful emotional moments in anime history. We got the familial vibe of the crew. We got some amazing fights. We got Luffy's Gear 2 and Gear 3. We got Usopp sniping with... Well, I don't know. I'm still not sure to this day if it's Usopp or if it was Sogeking after all. But Sogeking was sniping from across the goddamn valley. Like, this freaking arc, man.
This arc is my perfect 10.
We even got the burning flag, right? Like that was
Yes,
an epic
Usopp shooting
moment.
that, Sogeking shooting that flag. Like the symbolism in that one stroke. We got Zora's Ashura mode. We got Sanji's Diable Jambe.
We got Frankie joining the crew, right? That was at the end of this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
We got
that was technically
Luffy
the
versus Lucci. Ah,
Screw Lucci. Who cares about him?
I do.
I know. That's why I said it.
Bro, Khalifa in the bathtub, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 arc, bro.
Khalifa in the bathtub. That reminds me of a certain song. Sang by Mousy. Mousy in the bathroom.
And then, at the very end, some ship burns or something.
Don't remind me of the ending of it.
I don't even
okay?
remember
That's
that
good.
happening, to be honest.
Yeah. Try to purge it from my memory.
Anyway, this was the moment we learned that Animac is a machine, not a human, but it's still a 10 out of 10 arc.
10 out of 10. Is post-tennis lobby counted as that?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay.
Next
yeah, I guess
arc. We
the
even got
post-
like some. We don't even have time to talk about it, but Chopper turning into monster form, like that was really good.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a piss.
Yeah, and the final chapter was of post-tennis lobby. It was the fight between Blackbeard and Ace, so we got that as well. So if we're counting both NS lobby and post-NS
And
lobby
post.
as one arc, it's 10 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, no, it's
back, guys.
absolutely a masterpiece. How did you? What? Wait.
Anyway,
I get it.
the next arc, Thriller Bark. Get it? Anyway, so the Thriller Bark arc, great comedy until the ending. Honestly, this arc for me would be like a 7.5 by its own merit. But then the ending. I'm gonna go take a
Nothing
piss.
happened, bro. Okay, what is going on with this guy? Like, is he going to piss? Is he I don't know.
All right, I'm back,
Anyway,
guys. Anyway, so there is one thing I wanted to mention.
people are gonna think I'm editing this. I'm not
Very
editing this.
important.
He's literally just coming back 2 seconds later.
Something very important that I have to mention. As Zoro stood there, the entire crew laying astray, no one was able to stop Kuma's rampage and thwart this fray. What could be? What could be done? It was up to Zoro
I like how
for this battle to be won.
I like how you're not even acknowledging anything else in that arc. You're just like, yeah, nothing happened.
And that is when Kuma attacked Zoro with a proposition. A proposition that makes a grown man cry. Can he take all of the pain of those standing by? And took that pain, he did. Took that suffering
Not
in
would
his
you say that?
boner.
What? Would you say that no one understands Zoro?
This dude right here produced the chadliest goddamn scene I've ever witnessed in my entire existence. And then when it was all said and done and he did the most selfless act anyone could have ever asked for after saving Luffy's head in exchange for his own, he stood there, arms crossed, standing tall in a pool of blood. And Sanji found him and said to him, Zoro, where did all this blood come from? Where did that warlord go to? What has happened here? And then Zoro said 2 words that forever trembled history. Zoro said that nothing happened.
Sunny and a bunch of other cool things happen in Thriller Bark. But I agree with you that it would be a 7.5, except for those few chapters at the end, which do make it like an 8.5.
All right, I'm gonna go piss.
The ending of Thriller Bark is literally what makes it such a fantastic arc for me. I mean, that and the one scene where Luffy shoves the zombie back into the grave.
Yes.
All right, guys, I'm back.
Funny.
Okay, cool. We get the Brigo references with the pissing. This is the 3rd time. Move on, bro. Move on.
I had to do it. Oh, Lord.
But yeah, you could have done it once, though. You could have done it once.
No, you needed to do it 3 times in order to get their good feeling. Anyway! Fastest whiz in the West! Oh, my mom just made pizza. Okay,
my
fine.
God.
That was another bigger reference. Anyway, I'd give it an 8.5. This arc, but I do
8.5,
think
fair.
that the Nothing Happens scene is my favorite scene in maybe all of anime. Like, it's very powerful.
It is one of the greatest moments in One Piece, for sure.
And we also
That
got
is
Brooks'
very insane.
backstory, which was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I forgot.
Brooks singing
That was
that song
amazing.
as his entire crew dies around him.
Oh my
Like,
god,
goddamn.
bro,
That was
the
so good.
the feels, brother.
One Piece has some great backstories, but that is probably top 3, maybe even the best one.
Oda
it's
just
really
cares
good.
about the characters that he creates.
You could tell he
It's
does.
really good.
You could genuinely tell he does. You know what? Maybe should I even give this arc a 9? No, I'm gonna still say 8.5. I think 2/3 of this arc was like a 7 or a 7.5. But
Yeah, that's the
man.
thing.
bro, but
It
nothing
shifts.
happened.
It shifts from like a lighthearted Halloween-based thing to completely different. So
And the whole
It is an
idea
odd arc,
of
yeah.
they're fighting a warlord this entire time, and then another warlord just rolls in.
Yeah, the thing is,
Like,
you don't
goddamn.
even get to catch your breath too. Like that's the thing. It's like the fight's over with what's his face, and like this other dude just shows up, and it's like holy crap! Like we're gonna have to fight another one immediately after. It's,
Yes.
God, it's insane.
anyway, yeah, Moria was like the least, impressive thing about the whole thing.
Moria's the least impressive villain in the entire series. I mean,
That
this
is
man
true.
single-handedly flexed on Kuro with being a worse antagonist. Okay, I take that
Yeah,
back.
he sucks. Like, what are his
He's like a son to
motivations?
me.
We don't know. Who cares?
He wants to become the
But then
Pirate
we
King,
have-
bro!
Then we
He
have
fought
the Summit
Kaido!
War. The Summit War.
No, yeah, the Summit War Saga. Starting strong, Sabaody Archipelago arc. I think this is a 9 or a 9.5. I
this is the-
love this arc.
The punch in the face, right?
This is the punch in the face.
That was good.
The return
That
of
was fucking-
Hachi. The most handsome man's
yeah.
wink. The secret revealed of the legendary wanted poster of the Simp.
Yes, the flying fish bikers. Yes.
Dude, we got the supernovas. We got the 3 captains, Law, Luffy, and Kid standing strong against an army of Marines. We got the pacifistas, bro. We got Kizaru attacking the supernovas.
Yeah.
And we
Kizaru
got
was there.
Luffy punching a dragon.
A celestial dragon
Thanks
Not
for
to
the
be confused
clarification, Evan.
with dragon.
And we also got a bunch of stuff about Roger from Rayleigh. So that was world building in that sense as well.
And we got another cool scene that people don't like, but I think was great. We got Rayleigh saying to Luffy, "Hey, I know where the One Piece is." And Luffy's like, "Don't you dare tell me." No, Usopp says, "Oh, where is it?" And Luffy's like, "Don't
Yeah.
you dare tell me. If you tell me
Like,
the adventure's over."
He like screams at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That moment hurts my soul, as you guys know.
And my ears.
It was
I am
necessary
a-
though.
No, I'm a guy who wants all the intel that's available all the time. So
Yeah.
in that sense, I can't relate to that, but I understand that a different character like Luffy would act this way.
And they get to the One Piece and it's a cure to the virus.
One Piece is the cure to COVID-19 confirmed.
You know it. Anyway, so
Oh, great. He said it. He said it
I
demonetized.
specifically did not say that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's the virus, bro. It's the virus.
The
That's
virus.
what it's
Here,
called.
I'll timestamp
It's the
you and you can
virus!
edit it out.
Anyway,
So,
moving on
what
to
do we
more
give
important things. I give this arc a
Sabaody?
9.2691238.
Okay.
4.
I'll give it 9. Let's go with 9. It's fair.
Or as Evan says, 9999999.
I have never done that in my life.
Evan.
Ever.
Evan, why do you say 9 like a screaming German saying no?
kinda
Wait, no.
Dude,
No.
Evan,
I've
that
never done
weird
in my life.
that weird Hitler mustache you had at one point, I'm so glad you got rid of it.
Okay, first of all, look, I've never said that before in my life.
I don't even know what that's about. Evan, I'm just joking. Nux is mentally unstable, and we all know that, and that's why we love him. But
Hell yeah.
please continue. Nux, Amazon, Lily. bro.
Amazon Lily, we got introduced to the goddess of waifus, the Simp Queen. Belle Delphine would prostrate herself before her. She
Aphilandra, yes, Aphilandra was amazing.
and we also had Boa Hancock,
And Boa Hancock.
who looks down upon you so powerfully. She looks up.
Yes. But obviously the big thing that happens before this arc is that the crew is split up and Luffy is now on his own in Amazon Lily and the crew is split up by Kuma. They're all on different islands.
Dude,
And
that was
is
another
the-
powerful scene in Sabaody, by the way, when Kuma was getting rid of the crew and Luffy thought they were dying.
Oh yes, that was.
And he's like,
really-
I couldn't
'cause
even
he
save
didn't
one
know
of them.
What was going on? He didn't know what was going on. Yeah, so that was really.
Excuse me,
powerful.
I thought they
You're
were
right.
dying too.
Evan, you have a pretty weak mindset.
Yeah, I
You have a
remember.
pretty weak. I'm sorry. You cannot tell me that you were either watching or reading that and not thinking, "Holy crap, they're all dying."
No.
Yeah,
Not
it's
even for a
actually
second.
remember I made the joke when we did that arc. I was like at the end, I was like, okay, so that's it. The rest of the story is with another crew, and Tekken was like, oh yeah. So these guys are dead now, and now I don't know if he said like Buggy's guys are the
I
main
think he
crew
said
now
Kobe
or something.
or something.
Maybe. But anyway, yeah, it is like if you're just reading this story.
Here lies
for
the
first
inspiration
time-
of Kobe D. Schlongsucker.
Yeah, imagine if you're reading this weekly, right? So you don't know that there's another 400 chapters or whatever. Like you're just reading this weekly, you don't know. That's pretty scary stuff.
Anyway, we got confirmed of the consistency of Luffy's penis, which I think
Yes.
was a highlight. We
that's
also
true.
had
mushroom shaped.
we honestly, it was a really great arc all around. I think that the character like of Boa Hancock and her interactions with Luffy were fantastic. I would give this arc a solid 8.
We also got a lot of hockey stuff, right?
Yeah. I play hockey once a week.
You don't, you liar. I mean, I would give this arc an 8 because of all the hot ladies. Maybe it would be 7.5 if I didn't care about the hot ladies, but I do care, so I'll give it an 8.
Evan's gay, so he wouldn't rate this highly.
He's not gay.
I have a
Stop.
girlfriend. What?
Did you tell her yet? Did you tell her yet?
He's
What do you
simp.
mean,
He's
did
a
I tell her?
simp,
What do
bro.
you
Get it
What do
right.
you mean? Oh, but you know what? To be fair, I did ask her to be my boyfriend, so you know it's fair. I guess. Sure, I'm gay. There you go.
Confirmed.
Okay,
Anyway,
you
moving on.
did this to yourself, Evan. Moving on.
Moving on, we got the Impel Down arc. This is a good arc. Bro, this is such a good arc. I think that Bon Clay...
I was gonna say, just saying this is a good arc is kind of an understatement, bro.
This arc is good, bro. It's good.
Bro, Bon fucking Clay.
Bon Clay, man.
Not Bon Clay. Bon fucking Clay, bro.
Thanks,
this
man.
arc, dude. Oh.
Thanks, bro, for putting emphasis on the right syllables, bro.
And this is when also Buggy actually becomes the legend, or begins to become the legend that we all know. He
Bon
is now.
Clay had the biggest power of friendship technique in all of One Piece. He sacrificed himself. Like, he pulled a Zoro moment. Like, he pulled a nothing happened in his own weird Okama way.
Except with Zoro, he ended up making it and staying with the crew, but with Bon Clay, he like condemned himself to death, basically.
Yeah, what a beast. What an absolute boss.
Yeah, man, this was great. Like, there was so much stuff that happened here. Like, we're obviously not going into
We
everything.
also got
but
introduced to Jinbei, who's one of my 5 favorite Straw Hats.
Jinbei, Ace was like the whole trying to save Ace thing was there. Impel Down itself is such a great world building thing because it's like Dante's Inferno, basically. The impossible, like I talked about this that in that episode, but the impossible, Oda writes the impossible place to escape to, and so he writes himself into this corner because it's like this place is so hard to escape from, and yet he has to rescue Ace and escape from it, and then he challenges himself to write a realistic way, feasible way to do it, and he succeeds, and it's amazing.
And we got the return
And at the end,
of Croco
at the end,
Boy.
Nux, Crocodile's there, and at the end, Nux's favorite character, Blackbeard, shows up.
I heard of Blackbeard before.
It's like Luffy and freaking Blackbeard are like so close yet so far from each other in that arc, right? It's like one of those things where like you want them to meet and interact with each other, but they just don't get the chance. And it's wild
Yeah, it's
because after Jaya, they just have not interacted since.
Yeah, I feel like Nux is the Blackbeard to my Luffy.
Oh, I feel like you're the Simpanito to Evan's Hitler.
Why are you making me out to be this weird thing, bro? What is? I do not like this lore. I was okay with being a simp, okay with being, the fairer of all fish, but this is going too far.
Bro,
I
you know how
take it
Nux
back. I
is.
take it back.
He's Blackbeard. He just wants chaos. Just chaos. So what do we give Impel Down?
9.
I think this is Tekken's favorite arc, isn't
2,
it?
6, 9, 1, 4, 11, 12, 76, 34 out of One Piece.
What are you actually giving it?
I give this arc a 9 out of One Piece.
I'd have to go with 9.5, bro. At
Impel
least 9.5.
Impel Down is pretty great, actually. Honestly, I'd probably give it a 9.5 as well.
See, I love
Yeah.
Impel Down. Don't get me wrong, but I think that I preferred Sabaody. Personally.
I mean, that's okay for you to prefer that. Totally cool.
Yeah.
One thing I felt, so the setup, like Water 7 is technically a setup for NS Lobby, and Impel Down is a setup for Marineford. But in reality, whereas Jaya, you definitely it feels like a setup. These are on their own amazing arcs.
Yeah.
Even though they're setups for other arcs. So that kudos for that. Like it's like Oda's writing is improving as he's going, and it was already
What?
good.
You mean practice makes people better? Nani?
Oh yeah. This was a useful comment, Nux. Tap yourself on the back, son.
You know
Tap
what?
yourself on the
You
back.
know what? I'll do that. Let me just take a quick whiz first. I'll be right back.
So
God damn it.
9.5 from me and Evan, and what did you say, Nux?
All right, guys, I'm back from pissing. Anyway, I would.
What
give
did you rank NS Lobby?
I'd give it a 9 out of One Piece.
Not NS Lobby, Impel Down. Okay, so a 9.
So anywho, next arc is Marineford. Animac, I can't believe you give Marineford a 4 out of 10.
I gave Marineford a 10 out of 10. 100% 10 out of 10. Loved this freaking arc. It was insane.
Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 arc.
This
Easy.
would also be my second 10 out of 10.
Bro,
Easy.
just the first chapters of this long arc, 30 chapter arc, right? The first few chapters were already giving me goosebumps with the pirate fleet and the setup and everything. I was like, whoa, man. Whoa, man.
This arc just flexed on itself like 5 times. Like, you got
It did.
One Piece rolling, you got Whitebeard rolling in with his crazy devil fruit. He causes a tsunami, and Aokiji freezes the ocean. Then you got Luffy popping in from the sky after Buggy is declared as potentially Pirate King. And then you got the insane reveal of Blackbeard showing up out of nowhere. Just taking a devil fruit from Whitebeard. Now he has the strongest Logia and the strongest Paramecia devil fruits at the same time, flexing on Sabaody. And then you got another reveal of Shanks showing up out of nowhere, stopping the entire war.
Yeah, who could have seen that? Who could have predicted that Blackbeard was gonna steal somehow freaking Whitebeard's devil fruit?
This was the biggest brain plan I've ever seen in anime. You can laugh all you want about, Light Yagami erasing his memories to trick L, and then you got Blackbeard flexing on him hard by becoming a world power out of nowhere with this 100-chapter strategy.
This arc had so much, like in terms of fights, it had so much. It was so intricate, so complex. All these different things happening. Whitebeard sacrifice.
Oh yeah, and Ace died.
Ace's sacrifice. So much stuff happened. So much emotion and great fighting and great villains. The whole Marines thing. So it really had everything. I'm only sad. The one thing that I would like to see is the crew being there with Luffy because I love the crew. But obviously, we need them not to be here for this part of the story. That's what makes us appreciate them even more. So 10 out of 10. 100%.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute masterpiece, and unfortunately, in this arc, we see the unfortunate death of Ace. But
One Piece does exist.
Yeah.
And I think that ending this massive story, the post-war was also great. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10 or something. Like, it was also really good. Seeing Luffy, dealing with the fact that he lost. I think that, as far as One Piece goes, having this massive climax as, a center point in the story, and seeing an ultimate defeat where he has to claw himself back up, this is amazing. One Piece is a masterpiece.
And we also got in the post, we got Luffy's backstory with Ace, which added a lot more emotion to the whole sacrifice from the previous arc. So that was great too. I would, again, going with the whole let's rank them together because it's just the post one, 10 out of 10.
All right, good with
Yeah, no, that's fair. 10.
And yeah, so much world building happened too, like with the revolutionaries, the new age of the pirates, the world government pretending like they won, but it's not all as good as they're trying to make it appear to be in the media.
Yeah.
We had Luffy declaring that the new age is here. Just so much stuff, man.
Whammon and Jed to Whammon, that's where we wrap it up. What would you give One Piece until this point out of 10, Animac?
I have to go with 10, bro. I have to go with 10 because obviously different arcs have different strengths to them and all that stuff. But if you give it an overall experience, the fact that this manga has been going on for so long and that the hype has been just getting more and more hyped and that it's just as interesting as it ever was, if not more. I mean, dude, like most manga end halfway to the point where One Piece is right now in terms of where we are, let alone where One Piece is in real time. So 100% 10 out of 10. This is an amazing accomplishment. This is an amazing accomplishment for any mangaka, for any writer.
I would
Just
give
crazy.
this story a 9.69. Which honestly, I would argue is an even better score than a 10.
Okay.
I would have to, give it a 10 out of 10, or as I should also say, favorite anime of all time out of 10.
Or as we can, to give another Brigo reference, a One Piece out of 10.
Dude, I literally made that joke
he
before when I said it's a 9 out of One Piece. How weak is your mindset, Animac? Use that brig brain.
Yeah, but you did it wrong, bro.
I did it right. I did it right, Animac. Pathetic. I spit on thee. Thank you very
I'm glad
much,
that you
Metal
keep
Mama.
cutting out so no one can hear what you're
They
saying. But
hear
yeah,
everything. I'm the one doing the recording. You don't hear it.
Not the recording that I'm putting up, bro. I have
Oh.
my own recordings.
Well,
Like
the
the
one that-
world government, I have my own media.
The one that's going to be on Twitch and YouTube has my version. And my version has the nothing happened moment. Unlike yours.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna cut that out because it makes you look too good. You performed that too well, and I don't want people to praise you, so I'm gonna cut that out.
I think you should rewatch the VOD just so you can really see the skill and harmony that went into it.
No, I had.
I think
goosebumps.
just listening it to it once the first time is kind of a weak mindset.
I agree.
I did a better job
no,
than you could even imagine.
You did great, Nux.
Yes.
And you managed to do something so cool, and basically was poetry, bro. And yet you were so annoying the whole time too. So I mean,
No, it wasn't about the
not everyone
poetry.
can
Oh,
do
you
that.
missed it completely. You'll see.
not everyone can do that, bro.
I have something
Great
at my
job.
disposal called control over the stream. You'll
Did
know
you
when
add
you
music? Did you add music? Oh my god.
No, I'm not sure. Did I?
Oh,
Suspicious.
Well, this was definitely great. We needed this kind of like a recap of all the amazing moments, the amazing arcs. I feel better now in terms of getting it all settled in my head as we prepare to move on next week. Nux, do you know which chapters we're doing next week?
Oh, we're continuing next week? I thought you were going to take like another 6 weeks vacation to try and stretch out this podcast even longer. But I'm good with
Definitely
continuing.
not.
The next week, we start off with the Return to Sabaody arc, which is only 4 chapters. And then, the Fishman Island arc. So, that Fishman Island arc is 50 chapters. So, I guess we should do 20 of it. So that we could do 22. Yes. Next week, we are doing from 598 to 630. I lied. To 625. We'll do it like that. I think that's a better way to do it.
598 to 625.
598,
Okay.
625. You know what? Actually, let me quickly look to find the stop point. That's better. Let me just do that. It'll take a second. Because there's a certain backstory that I want to get to the end of.
Okay. Yeah, let's check it
598.
now. As true professionals, we do this in real time, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. You get the full experience here. Okay, to 620 through 626.
620. Okay, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna go on a multiple week hiatus, Nux. We're gonna keep going next week because I want to know what happens, bro. I want to know what happens. It's been an amazing journey.
Yeah, Fishcake Island's awesome, man.
Fishman Island. Yeah, finally they're getting into that.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing journey. I don't know if having you on my crew was good for my mental health, but it's definitely been an experience. So thank you.
No, a lot of people probably think I'm racist now, thanks to Nux. So that's gonna be a
Evan, you're
fun thing
black.
to
You
try to
can't be
clear up.
racist. You're black.
Oh, thank you
Bro,
for clarifying.
No one takes Nux seriously. No one takes Nux seriously. Don't worry. Do not worry, my good friend Evan. You're a good person. You're a bit of a simp.
Look,
but
I hate
you're a
to
good
agree
person.
with Animac. So I won't! And say that everyone takes me seriously. Have yourself a most wonderful evening. Use that big brain of yours. Remember to stay Shin Paku, fam.
And until next time, see
Bang!
you, Space Cowboys.
Thanks for having me.